Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. This is Rabbi Simon, and here we are at another Sabbath and another great day, heavier day. Okay, so let's talk about the Sabbath a little bit. But before we talk about the Sabbath a little bit, I want to talk about a testimony that I want to give you and show you the power of tithing and the power of giving Zadaqah. Now, there's a person in the U.S., a friend of mine, you can say, friend and stroke, maybe, student from a distance. So, what I said to this friend of mine, and I want you to get the complete picture. She's a pensioner, so 80 years old, okay. And I said to her, listen, if you want a blessing, here is what you do. I said, you send me $8 every. I think I said every day. Yeah, I said you send me $8 a day for 30 days, and I said that amounts to 30 days, $8 a day would be $240 for 1 month. I said you're only going to do this for 1 month, and I guarantee you that you're going to get a blessing within the next 3 months, guaranteed. You just can't fail. So she took up heart, and she said, okay, I'll definitely do it for 1 month. I said, yeah, it might seem like it's a little painful for you, but don't feel painful, because it will pay off. I guarantee it will pay off, because you got to circulate money to get money. It's energy. You got to circulate it. If you don't circulate it, you get nothing. So what she did, she started to send me $8 every day for 1 month. She sent me $8 every day for 1 month. 30 days later, she contacted me and said, okay, today's the last day. I sent you the last amount. Did you get it? I said, yeah, I got it. I think she forgot one day, and I reminded her, and then she doubled up the payment. So her 30 days completed, and I said, now you just wait for your blessing to turn up. And guess what happens? Approximately, not even 3 months, approximately 1 month later, which is yesterday, she contacted me and she said, do you remember that you told me to send you $8 a day for 30 days for a blessing? And I did. And I said, yeah, I remember it. So she said, today I was contacted by some Social Security department, and they reworked her pension, and she was told that she will be getting $145 extra every month for the rest of her life. Now, isn't that a great blessing? And she was so happy. She goes, you know what? I'm so happy. And I said, yeah, I told you, didn't I? I told you that you're going to guarantee a blessing that you're going to get. Otherwise, you just carry on where you are and you just be like, the rest of the bunch. And so she was very, very happy. And I'm so happy for her. I'm so happy for her as well. So it's wonderful. So this is why I had kept emphasizing to you all that if you don't tithe, you are not going to get no blessing. And of course, I'm not saying that you're unemployed, but listen, here is this woman, right, who was a pensioner on a limited pension, and yet she still ended up getting a blessing. This just proves the point of tithing. And I know there are many people who listen to these and they don't tithe, and they think that they're going to get rich. Well, you're not getting nowhere. You're not getting rich. You're not going to get nowhere in your life. You're going to carry on being the same struggle, and then you're going to wonder why you still struggle. Because you don't partake in the kingdom, you don't get nothing. So moving on, second testimony, and I wanted to highlight this important testimony, and we are not quite there yet, so this testimony is still in the process, and maybe I will give you this at a later date, but I will want to emphasize one point which I think is very important, and it concerns this one, and it probably concerns a lot of you who are trying to get ahead. let's say, for argument's sake, that you were earning $50,000 a month. Sorry, not a month. Annually. Let's say you were earning $50,000 annually, and you wanted to double it to 100,000, and those that were earning 100,000 wanted to double it to 200,000. Okay, so you said, you know what, I want to earn $200,000 annually. So you were already on 100,000 or 50,000 for this case, in either of the two, 50 or 100. You want to double your income. And what happens, what you must remember, that your current company, which was the case for some of my students, your current company may not be willing to give you twice the amount that you're earning currently. If they're currently paying you 100,000, maybe they're not interested in giving you 200,000 because they might think that's too much. Or yeah, they can give you a 5% raise. Maybe they can give you 5,000 extra, or maybe $10,000 extra at the end of the year. But they're definitely not going to double you. Okay? So what happens? You write down your affirmation or your manifestation or your desire. You say, I want $200,000 annually. This is what I want. Now, here comes the crunch. What might happen, because your current job refuses to pay you 200,000. No job is going to pay you 200,000. That's already paying you 100, because they're going to say, maybe we can hire 2 workers instead of 1 and pay 2 workers 100,000 each. So they don't do that. However, some other company is happy to give you $200,000. So what does God do? God removes that job from you. He takes it away from you. Yes, your job is removed for whatever reason, for no reason. It doesn't have to be a reason. It's not like economy is bad or whatever. No, nothing to do with economy. You decided you wanted 200K, so God removes that job from you. Now you don't even have the 100,000 job, or maybe now you don't even have the $50,000 job. Why? Because you had already asked for double the salary. So your current job people refuse to pay you double the salary. So what does God do? God removes it. When God removes it, the first thing you think of as a human being, you think to yourself, oh, did I do something wrong? Did I commit a sin? Am I being a bad person? And the reality is, none of that is true. Then comes the hard part, the pain, what I call the pain. The pain comes, your family, maybe wife, maybe husband, maybe, relatives, mother, father, son, whatever, daughter, sister, they start to criticize you. They say, hey, you were on $100,000 and now you're not even getting zero. So, what did you do wrong? That you lost your job. So you have to now face criticism from family members. Could be your spouse, could be somebody else. So you start to get doubts. You think, oh, I shouldn't have asked for the 200,000. I was being stupid, and I already had the 100,000, and I should have been happy with it. Blah blah blah. You start to reason with yourself, and all of that, right? Simply because you're starting to doubt your own manifestation, that blessing that's going to come to you for 200,000. You start thinking maybe you were wrong to do that, and then you ask me, hey Kohen, did I make a mistake? Did I commit a sin? Did I do something wrong? And I turn around and say, no, you did nothing wrong. If you ask for 200,000, you need to stick to it. You need to be patient, and you need to understand that God has to take you through the pain. There will be some pain involved. Listen, there is some pain involved, 100% guarantee. So what happens, eventually you go through the pain. You go through this heartache. You have to wait maybe 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever the time period God has allotted for you. You wait for that, and then boom, comes your opportunity. Some company, they recruit you and they say to you, hey, we want to pay you twice the money that you were earning before. And this is what you have to do. maybe even 3 times the money that we want to pay you. And this is what you have to do. And then comes your breakthrough. So don't ever put yourself down. Don't ever distrust your blessing. And don't ever keep thinking, did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? When you did nothing wrong. So just be patient. Be focused. You are going to get your blessing. Whatever that blessing is, whatever you ask for, you're going to get it, but you need to be focused. You need to be, steadfast, and God will deliver. That's what I wanted to tell you. Secondly, on the Sabbath, nobody has ever, I have never heard a rabbi, other than teach the niceties of a Sabbath, I have never heard a rabbi say, why did God tell us to keep the Sabbath? No rabbi will tell you this. I have never heard of a rabbi actually teach you the truth about the Sabbath, why God wants you to keep the Sabbath, or why did He give us the 7 days of rest. Let me tell you today that the 7th day is a very hard day. The number 7 is not what you've been led to believe. The number 7 is a very destructive number. The reason why God told us to keep the Sabbath on the 7th day, because 7 is a destructive number. This is why if your house has the number 7, if your car has the number 7, whatever your business has the number 7, you're going to certain to face losses. Certain. It's not even a maybe, it's a guarantee. Even if you add the numbers, if your house number was 142, that added together equals 7. Or if your car has a number 142 in it, or some other number that adds to 7, you're definitely facing losses with that car. It could be an accident, a write-off, or it could be just plain losses for the house or for the car. So this is why the Sabbath was given. No rabbi on this earth other than me is going to tell you 7 is a very destructive number. The number 7 is so heavy that this is why God told us, don't do the business on the 7. Why? Because 7 is a destructive number. Whatever business we put into place, it's not like God's going to kill you. God's not going to kill you. If you decided to sign a business contract on the 7, you won't die. You'll still be alive, but it may work against you because it's a heavy number of destruction and financial losses. This is what God was trying to protect us from, financial losses. Not because God's going to kill you for a Sabbath. This is just baloney that people teach you that God's going to strike you down. God's not going to strike nobody down. And even the mentions that they make from the Torah that a person was killed, no, it's nothing to do with that. It's a total different scenario. You signing a business simply means that your business that you signed up on a Sabbath is not going to work out. That's all it means. It means that instead of signing it on a Saturday, you sign it on a Saturday night or Sunday. When the Sabbath is no longer operational, now the heavy time has gone. Yes, the heavy time has passed. Now you can sign it. That's the reason why the number 7 is nothing to do with completion. It is not a number for completion. It's a number for destruction. Unfortunately, nobody taught it. So here we are, talking about it. So that's the reason. Now, let's go to the Bible. And what I like to do is I like to start reading the Bible from, let me open the Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls. I want to open Genesis chapter 1. I think I am interested in starting the reading from Genesis chapter 1. So I'm going to read the whole chapter to you and then maybe talk a little bit about it. So be patient because this is going to bless you. Just listening to it is going to bless you. So let's go to chapter 1. I'm on the Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls, 7th edition, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The Book of Beginnings, Torah Pasha 1, Bereshith. Bereshith bara Elohim alif tav hashamayim ve'et ha'eretz. In the beginning Elohim powers created the Shamayim and the land. The land was desolate and chaotic, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Elohim powers was fluttering over the face of the Mayim, and Elohim powers said, Light be, and light was. Elohim powers saw the light that it was good. Elohim powers separated the light from the darkness. Elohim powers called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the morning and the evening were Yom Echad, day one. And Elohim powers said, Expanse be in the middle of the Ma'im, and divide the Ma'im from the Ma'im. That's the waters. Now here God created an expanse called a Rakia. Okay, in verse 6, God created an expanse called a Rakia. And I'm probably going to stop here because there's too much in here to just bypass it and talk nothing about it, because we can pick it up next week as well. What does the expanse mean? It's a solid, something solid above us. When you look up in the sky, it's blue, sky blue. There's water up there. That's what God is saying here. There's waters above you, there's waters beneath you. We know there are seas beneath us. We know there's many waters beneath us. And listen, I dig the water out of my home, with a water pump. Yeah, so I know there's water underneath me because I drink it every day. I bathe with it. I drink it. I use it to flush my toilet and everything. So yes, it's not like God is talking nonsense. God did create the water underneath us. There's water underneath us. There's water above us. No spaceship can ever cross that water, and no spaceship. Well, the spaceship might be able to cross the water like a submarine, but no spaceship can cross the expanse. Let me repeat it. No spaceship in this earth today. No spaceship. I don't care America's daddy can come and say they built a space. I don't care who you are, America. Even you can't cross that expanse. Because God created an expanse, and even you can't cross it because you already tried in 1950. You already tried in 1950 with your so-called nuclear missiles, and you failed. Operation Goldfish. Go look it up. Operation Goldfish failed to break that expanse. God is God. God is superpower. God is a super energy. No one can defy God's creation. No one can defy what God has said. I used to read this passage and I used to think, well, God is saying there's water above us and there's water beneath us. I know there's water beneath me, but where's the water above us? Because I can't see it. All I can see is blue. But when I travel in the plane, I look up and I see blue. And I was like, wow, there's blue up there. There must be water up there. And Elon Musk's daddy and Elon Musk's great-great-great-grandchildren, they can try for the rest of their life. They'll never be able to cross that expanse. So there is not a single spaceship that has ever got into so-called space to get to the moon, get to the Mars, get to Venus, get to all these other stars. It's never going to happen. It never happened. It's never going to happen. We've been fed lies. We've been fed inaccurate information. We've been taught wrong in the schools. That is the baloney they teach you in schools. And it is all fundamental lies. Okay? There is no such thing. It never happened. My grandfather used to argue that no one ever went to the moon, and people used to laugh at him. But my grandfather was right. Mr. Yosef, you were right. No one ever went to the moon. Because these bullshitters have been bullshitting all these years, lying about it, and no one ever went to the moon. Because when you go to Antarctica, which is the continent, beyond Antarctica, there's 40 continents that they hide from you. Well, Antarctica is a wall that covers, that closes us in. So Antarctica is keeping the earthlings out. How's about that for a reference? Antarctica is not keeping in, is keeping out. So we are actually out, outside Antarctica. If you want to find creation, other creation, dinosaurs, maybe even aliens, they're all on that side of Antarctica, which you're not allowed to go to. I would say the United States of America and United Kingdom and maybe rest of Europe, they already have a contractual agreement with these so-called alien beings that they are meant to keep these people secret. Yeah, that's also true, by the way. That's also true. There was a guy, right? I was looking at a TikTok clip, and a guy was saying that he was putting this out. He was a contractor for America, US, some kind of secret service, and he said that he is now on hiding. He said he felt his duty to tell everybody that in October 2025, these extraterrestrial beings that America is in contact with, that they are coming down here and, whatever they do with the government, secretively, of course. He spilled the beans and he said that I have to tell you that those beings we are in contact with them. He says, we are in contact with them. He says, I am in hiding and I've already lost my job and I don't know what will happen to me, but I'm going to stay in hiding. So I can't tell you where I am, but I can tell you, he showed the document. He showed the so-called secret document. He said that was, a signatory with the so-called aliens or whoever they are and wherever they're coming from, whichever planet they're turning up from. And by the way, again, I'm not so much, putting power to that, but I'm telling you this much, that this expanse, nothing can get in and nothing can get out. So I think even there, that man, right, what he was telling us, I think is a little bit mistaken, that these so-called aliens, they're not coming from expanse up there, they're coming from beyond Antarctica. That's where they are. So expanse, because all these spaceships that we see that appear in our world, they come out of the sea and then they disappear back into the sea. So they have their bases. These so-called beings, they have their bases deep in the sea, or maybe they have it across Antarctica where you can't go. And those areas are protected, and you have a no-fly zone over there, so you can't fly through and see it, etc. So you get my drift. My drift is simple. You cannot break the rukia, the expanse, which God has created. In Genesis 6 is mentioned. Genesis 6 is rock solid. The book of this Bible, these books of the Torah, they are rock solid, unchangeable. They are unchanged. Even if they made a point difference here and there, these books tell you exactly what's going on. Okay, these books tell you that, but you have to spend a little bit of time with them to understand our universe. So our universe, everything in our universe is energy. God is the energy source. We are all energy. We are connected to source. Yes, we're all connected to source. So, some people who are more connected than others, they can get their desires quickly. And some people who are not, they have to wait for their desires. And this is why putting certain principles into effect will speed up your desire. And not putting it into effect will slow it down. It doesn't mean that you never get your desire. You get your desire, but it might take years. Or, on the other hand, if you knew what principle to put into effect, you might get it very quickly. So, okay, let's move on from Genesis 6. Thus Elohim powers brought about the expanse and divided the mind, which were under the expanse, from the mind which were above the expanse, and it was done. So the two expanse, the expanse is the rakia. God divided it between bottom and top, water up, water below. And Elohim powers called the expanse Shamayim. So the evening and the morning were Yom Shani, day 2. Shamayim means heaven, just the expanse above us. Elohim power said, let the Maim under the Shamayim, let the water under the Shamayim, under the heaven, be collected together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. In other words, God put that water into what today we call oceans, rivers, and whatnot, and then we had the dry land. Elohim powers called the dry land earth, and the collecting together of the Maim he called seas, Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim power said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb that yields zerah, and the fruit etz that yields fruit according to his kind, whose zerah is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, the herb that yields zerah, according to his kind, and the etz that yields fruit, whose zerah is in itself according to his kind. And Elohim power saw that it was good. That was verse 12, by the way. Verse 13. So in the evening and the morning were Yom Shalishi, day 3. Okay, we'll leave it at day 3. Okay, so what I will do, day 3, I'm going to find a way to bookmark this. How do I bookmark this? Let's see, bookmark. Here it is, I bookmarked it, okay? Using, I get pages, I'm using the word stuff here. Okay, so I bookmarked it, and I think that I have reached the pinnacle of my lecture. What I want you to focus on is I want you to fact check what I said. Number one, I tell you that I don't lie to you. There's no need. And what I presented is from the Bible, from the Torah. The Torah is untainted. I want you to fact check what I told you. I want you to fact check using Google or some other engine. That was there ever an Operation Goldfish? I want you to check it for yourselves. So verify it. I want you to verify, is there a place called Antarctica? I want you to verify, is there an ice wall that keeps us in, not out, or you can say out, it keeps us out. I want you to fact check that. Check all of those facts, satisfy yourselves, and then you will know that this Kohen is a brave Kohen, is a courageous Kohen. This is not one who's afraid of this, that, and the third. I serve the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm not afraid of anybody. So I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth as plain as it can be. Now, those of you, I want you to check your vehicles. Does it add up to the number 7? Take your your 2 numbers or your 3 numbers depending on your state and calculate, add the numbers up. Do they add up to 7? If they add up to the number 7, you're in big trouble, because that vehicle will give you a loss, or it will end up in a big accident. You need to change those number plates. If they do end up with the number 7, you need to change the number plates. Okay? You need to change the number plates for your life's sake. What if your house has the number 7? God help you if it has the number 7. Because is the local government going to allow you to change it? I don't know about that. However, if you do find that your house has the number 7 when added together, the numbers that it has, then you may want to contact me on my email, shimon63@yahoo.com and shimoun63@yahoo.com. Ask me, maybe I'll give you a tip on how to correct that. So, how to bypass, and I will only help you if you are a student. If you are a tithe-paying student, I will help you. If you are not a tithe-paying student, if you are a freebie, then I'm sorry, I won't help you. I've just given you the information, then it's up to you what you do with it. Dance around with it, do whatever you do. Be the loser that you want to be, because your house is about to give you loss as well. So just know that. I just want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from. So, my students, those of you who are my faithful students, have faithfully followed me. You have seen everything I said is to the penny has come to pass. To the penny. And it will come to pass to the penny in the near future as well. So we are already there. We are experiencing some of the end of days, things that are happening around us, and we're beginning to see those things. I don't want to say too much more than this. I think I've said enough. I want you to go back and re-listen to this lecture if you need to make sure that you understand that. Also, before I go, I want you to completely understand that God is not here to punish you. God is not here to delight by you being in pain and suffering. God's not into that. God wants to bless you. But in order to reap that blessing, you have to do something as well. You can't get a blessing for nothing. Nothing gives you nothing. You have to give something for your blessing. So I already explained the principle. Rest is up to you. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful Sabbath and a beautiful weekend. Until next time, Shabbat Shalom to you.